Live now. Going, and gone. It's live. Everything is up there.
Squirrel!
Still hearing the sounds?
I'm still hearing the sounds. Yay!
Good. It's still working like it's supposed to. Alrighty.
Honestly, I think the little echo I hear of myself is totally worth it because now I can hear the sounds. I think it's a fair trade-off.
Yeah, well, you can hear everything, so that's all good. We will get this all going live. So
Hopefully I'm able to be heard on here. Hang on.
Yeah, you should be. Hang on. Talk.
I am talking.
Yeah, so you're
I can hear.
You're transmitting sounds.
Yep. I was just double checking by playing, but you gotta wait the whole 30 seconds before you can hear the bit that you just said, so.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works, but it's all good. So I made my Chipotles yesterday.
Ooh.
I used that smoker thing you guys brought me.
And how'd it go?
Yeah, it worked pretty well. It's
awesome.
filthy. I gotta finish cleaning it, so it's really super filthy.
Yeah,
and
well,
it's got so much ash in it. It's not even funny. I just didn't feel like cleaning it yesterday when I used it, so I just added to the ash, and I used a cast iron skillet to smoke the peppers in.
Hey, would that ash be at all useful for your dirt?
Some of it may. The problem with that ash there, I'm going to have to test that ash in the walkways because that ash there is made from charcoal briquettes, and most charcoal briquettes are made from oil based. So it's not good for your soil. It's oil based.
Did not know that.
Yeah. If it's a natural charcoal briquettes, like made from hardwoods, then you can use the ash in your thing. It's like some of the ash I have to be, the ash in my fire pit. If I've been burning treated wood, I can't even use that ash.
Oh.
And I have been burning treated wood because I had a whole bunch of bits and pieces left over from all the work I did. So I won't be able to use that ash in the compost either because, again, it's chemically treated. It adds chemicals into the soil. So, but anyway,
every day.
I've had to with the Chipotles. You smoke them for. I think I smoked them for about 5 hours, so they were really good and charred up a bit. And then you have to put them in the dehydrator to fill them, so the whole downstairs smells like smoky peppers.
Nice.
So it's really quite nice. Looking forward to using it once I get them all fully dried and I get all the stems removed and I can grind it up because I didn't do just jalapenos. I did all the peppers that I'd harvested. So it's a blend of peppers. It's a wild blend of peppers. So it may be a little spicy. You have to learn how to use it to keep from over spicing because there were some hot peppers in there aside from jalapenos.
Like the sneaky bugger?
Yeah, I figured out what that one's called.
Yeah.
I think that's the hink. Oh no, the Hinko hats is one I figured out. I found I might have actually grown ghost peppers too.
Ooh. I thought, how did you grow ghost peppers? Did you have seeds for them?
Yeah, I planted seeds for all kinds of peppers, and what happened was, of course, my tags got faded on me, so I didn't know what I was looking at. So, we got everyone showing up. Nice to see people here. Signing in.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting ready to go to showtime. This is the pre-stream for those of you that are here early. That's all it is. It's the pre-stream as we make sure everything's working and we have a little chat about miscellaneous things. Show starts at noon sharp.
Yes, indeed.
So, at any rate, yeah. So yeah,
why is it that kids always choose right when you're busy to try and tell you something?
Because they got impeccable timing.
They really do. It's like, 5 hours beforehand when you were busy, you could have been interrupted or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say a word, but then as soon as you're doing something that you really can't be very much interrupted on, that's when they want to tell you everything.
Yep, that's the way it works.
Hey, Hemdian. Good to see ya.
Hey, he's early. Nice to see you in here, Hemdian. Oh, let's see what we got here. Everything else seems to be working fine. No, it's I do like the smell of the smoky peppers, though.
Does it make your eyes water?
No. It's just that if you've ever had Chipotle seasoning, you bought Chipotle seasoning, you open it up and you smell that nice smoky pepper. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. That's all I have right now. Is that nice smoky pepper.
Oh, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, the eyes watering. That only happens when you're making hot sauce, because that's when you're throwing a blended stuff fresh into the air.
So,
yeah.
What is the difference between Chipotle and smoked Chipotle if both of them require you to smoke the peppers?
There is no difference. It's you either call it Chipotle or you call it smoked Chipotle. Chipotle peppers, proper Chipotle peppers, are generally jalapenos, generally ripened jalapenos till they ripen red. Then you slit them open and you throw them on a grill and you smoke them for a few hours until they get partially dried and charred. And then you throw them in a dehydrator or the oven until they're dried to a crisp, where you can crush them into a powder that you can then use in spicing your foods.
That's interesting, because in the grocery stores, for smoked Chipotle, it costs way more than just regular Chipotle.
Yeah, well, Chipotles are, by definition, smoked peppers. So
that's what I thought.
Unless they're just barbecuing Chipotle peppers.
I wonder if maybe it's just a certain way that they're smoking it, because I know you can use like flavored smoking wood.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I used mesquite. I had a bunch of mesquite chips I was using. Next time I do them, I will use the plum wood, because I have a lot of plum wood.
I wonder what that'll taste like. Probably really good.
Yeah, well, plum is a nice fruit hardwood, and plum makes good smoking chips. Apple's one of the best, but I don't have enough apple branches yet to do that. When I start pruning my apple tree, I'll start saving the branches and chipping them up for smoking wood.
Cool.
All right. Well, we're coming up on the time here. It's getting really, really close. Where it is? There it is.
Well, I'm glad that you're using that smoker. We used it as a barbecue when got around to it. So yeah. He wanted to use it as a smoker, but we even got like the chips and stuff. We never got around to it.
Yep. Well, that's all I'll use it for. All right, it is time. Let's get some good music, bad singing, and off we go.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
Move it right along.
We're missing down Highway 49. crime. Captain pulled the trigger. Guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads. Is he yours or is he mine? Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, Joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Alrighty. That's it. It's showtime. Let's get this puppy all wound up and starting off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Going retro on you with WordPress plugins. It's episode 529, and we have plugins for stats, making it rain, killer zombies, retro games, related posts, getting spicy, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z.
WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the oasis deep in the heart of the Cowichan Valley. I'm John Overall. And with me is the ever lovely
Amber Overall.
Almost forgot your cue.
Yep. I always wait for that one little bit.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just got to jump right in there and get it done. All righty. The change is upon us, folks, and before I get too far started, you will want to hang around for the end of the show for our Q&A segment with Amber, where we split it in two pieces. You know, part of it stays here with the regular podcast. The other part is only available on YouTube. And to those listening on the podcast, you will want to go check out the YouTube channel and hear the second set of questions, man. They're often pretty good. And sometimes they go on for quite a bit, and we often rehash the first ones a couple of times, too, with even more info as we get feedback from you folks out there in our chat room, listening, chatting with us on YouTube. Alrighty, with all of that, it is time for me to...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
You know, I need to get a copy of that just so I can randomly play at you when we're having our conversations.
Ah, yes. Well, we'll get you the MP3. You figured out how to put it on your phone.
This is number 36 of 52 episodes for 2021. And I don't know about everyone out there, but I can definitely smell Halloween coming. The fall always smells like candles, leaves, and wood smoke, and that is definitely the smell that I connect with Halloween. And something I've noticed lately is, I'm not sure what it is, but I've been listening to a lot of music from my teen years, my youth. And I realized a lot of it actually has some pretty good messages. Something that I think I've been missing is music with stories to it, rather than just random music and words. And I mean, my taste in music has quite a range, like from Cherry Poppin' Daddies down to the Beatles. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been listening to again. And I was thinking about it, and I realized, listening to this stuff actually makes me feel pretty good. So I thought maybe everyone out there should try jumping down the rabbit hole of rediscovering the music from your years abound. I mean, it's really helped me. Also, Like there's times when I can remember singing horribly to one of the songs, or sometimes when I remember like blading and bailing on my blades to a song because I'm trying to dance on my rollerblades or something. It's just great. Good memories, some embarrassing memories, and I think everyone should try listening to older music. It just seems to really help out. I mean, there's also the fact that you can, legally drink the beer to some of the songs all over again. And the beer is way better this time around. Rinse and repeat as often as needed.
Absolutely. Sounds like fun. All right, it is time for...
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
Whatever.
So the first one I've got is, what will the future of WordPress searches look like after COVID-19? A recent update in the monthly volume of WordPress search trends for those that rely on this kind of information shows that the search it really spiked up there for a while, and now it's starting to go down. And what they're trying to do throughout this article is they're trying to figure out what it might become over the next couple of years, at least over the next 6 months. So I'm not entirely sure how this information helps people, because this isn't the kind of information I use, but I do know that this is the kind of information that some people rely on to keep their business going.
Interesting.
Yeah. Next one I have is benefits of cloud computing, the pros and cons. This is actually a pretty good article. A lot of articles like this I have found, they tend to mostly talk about the pros, don't really mention the cons. But this one actually goes through and it mentions things like pro, unlimited storage space, con, completely reliant upon internet connection in order to access. So if you lose your internet, you lose all of your information.
Yep.
And it goes through and explains different kind of cloud computing capabilities and all kinds of stuff. So
I remember the cloud is just somebody else's computer.
Yep. Next one I have up is nomophobe equals unhealthy. I didn't even know this was a word. But okay. Nomophobe is essentially you are a person who is accessible by phone 100% of the time. Somebody can always get a hold of you. And this article is about the uptick of 40 to 70% of use of smartphones since the pandemic started, and how that is raising anxiety and depression. Essentially, it's telling you need to unplug.
Yeah, that would be about right. Yeah, I know too many people that spend way too much time with their telephone. I ignore mine most of the time, to the point sometimes I leave the house without it, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot my phone.
Well, the most important thing on my phone is my books. That's most of what I used it for. But a lot of people I've noticed, like, they'll be in the middle of a very important conversation with a family member or their child, and they get a call and they stop mid-sentence to answer it.
Yeah.
So, seems to be more common than before.
Unfortunately, it's a real problem out there.
Next one up is Open Collective launches a new way to support open source through public stock shares. I found this very interesting. What I believe they're saying here is that they are getting companies to donate stocks in order to support the open source without having to pay capital gains taxes.
Yep, that's what they're doing. I thought it was an interesting thing. I didn't quite get a gist on how the stocks are used or what they do to support, and I didn't quite get a gist on that, but it is an interesting idea that they're getting companies to donate it. I mean, a lot of companies hire full-time employees and then dedicate them to an open source project that company depends on. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of the big ways of, WordPress is done. Is there's many big companies out there in WordPress, such as Yoast and others, that have employees that are they pay employees, but they're dedicated to solely working on the WordPress project, not even their own company project.
That's a good way to go about it. It keeps everything kind of flowing.
Yeah. So if this is a way that companies can get write-offs for it, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it helps encourage companies to support those projects by being able to, tax deduct out the costs of it.
And the next one I have here is WordPress contributor teams seek to curb spam pledges in 5 for the Future program. So the idea is that 5 for the Future program is going to get rid of the spam, the outdated pledges that appear on the programs dedicated to the website. For those of you that use this, here's hoping that the messages will go away soon.
It's okay. I have no idea what 5 for the Future is.
From what I understand, it's something that is very common in the WordPress world. It seems like it's something that's commonly used. I'm not entirely certain where they're coming from, but I thought for anybody who uses this, it's
this might be the contribute 5% of your business of your resources to the WordPress project.
Oh, okay. So I misunderstood that then.
Yeah. No, this is not it. I'm looking at this right now. It encourages organize. Yeah, contribute 5% of their WordPress resources to the WordPress development project. Okay. So when people spammed it and said, "Oh, I promised to do this, I promised to do that," and obviously they didn't follow through. Okay. So they're looking to clean up that mess.
This is why there's 2 of us.
Yeah, well.
The last one I've got on here is Gravity Forums launches Input YouTube channel and podcast, which I find this a very good idea. What they're doing is they are focusing on sharing the stories and experiences of people both inside and outside of the WordPress ecosystem. So it goes through things. I listened to one of them, and what they do is they talk about like, oh, I had the experience with this, and then they end up going into a technical discussion of why it worked, why it didn't work, and it's pretty cool, very helpful.
Well, that's pretty cool.
They're also focusing on the changes that Gutenberg is bringing in for them.
Nice.
And then I've got the extras, where we have things like multi-party breaches causing 26 times damage of worst single breach reports for cybersecurity. Tips Tuesday with Mayana, head transplants and brain implants from TNW, because I just think that their things are really fun sometimes.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
And one machine to rule them all. A master algorithm may emerge sooner than you think.
Yeah, well, our AI is on its way.
Yeah.
We know that. It's been playing around the edges. Alrighty, well, let's wander into our acknowledgement of all of our show donations.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
This is where we like to recognize you, the producers of the show, those that the reason this show even exists, for the ones that listen to the show, the ones that support the show in various ways. And we like to start off first off by acknowledging this week's artwork comes from Greg's Graphics at gregsgraphics.com. He done another great piece of artwork for us, a retro version on the soup cans. That's basically what I see. It's the, what's his name? I can't remember the artist's name. All I remember is soup cans.
Andy Warhol?
That's it, Andy Warhol and his factory, where he cranked out this art in a factory style. So anyway, it's a great piece of artwork. I really like it. Thanks a lot, Greg. Greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you supporting the show with the artwork. And any other artists out there that would like to get their art showcased, all you got to do is go to WP A to Z.com/art to donate artwork to the show. I'll have to make sure that that's an actual link, but I'm pretty sure that'll get you there. If you want, you can check out all the artwork. Simply go to the link in the show notes. It takes you into all the artwork that we have on the site right now. We also want to talk about, the executive producers of the show. We haven't had any for quite some time. Sooner or later, we'll get some again. But the executive producer position, you get a nice show credit for executive producing, $50 or more donation, and you get a note read out. Everything under that stays anonymous. So thank you very much. And there are a few of you. There's still a few bucks that roll in monthly and a couple of bucks here and there weekly, which is kind of nice. So we greatly appreciate those little small donations. They do help this show out, and thank you very much. Big thank you out there to those who've hired us because of the podcast. We greatly appreciate that too. That's as good as donating to the show. If you want to support the show, just head over to WPPluginsA to Z.com/donate to do that. We have one other segment where we like to recognize those that donate time to the show. We have a couple of people that do that. The artists are one, as we've mentioned. Another is such as our contest that's done by Charlie, who does an excellent job. He donates time to do that, reaching out to the developers, getting the licenses, coordinating the distribution of the license to the winners, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll talk more about that when we get to the contest segment of the show. So that's what we've got there. It's time now to head into the depths of plugin depravity for what everyone shows up to the show for. Alrighty, let's go dive right in. And we got ClassicPress options this week. It seems we have some ClassicPress news. Let's see what we got here. We got one from Gary Pendergrast, praises ClassicPress and extends invitation for collaboration. Oh, that was on the Tavern. All right. Cool. That means they might actually have be burying some hatchets there between WordPress and ClassicPress. That'll be good. Maybe help ClassicPress grow.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's see what they can do with it. That's an interesting little article. So go check that one out. We've got some ClassicPress usage reports here from ClassicPress.net. See what the usage report is as of September. About 5,000 active ClassicPress websites. That makes it pretty small at the moment, but I'm sure it will grow again as soon as it gets more usable in what it's doing. So anyway, a couple other quick articles in there. Go check those out in the show notes. Let's get in and talk about plugins and what I've got for you this week. The first one I've got for you this week is WP Statistics. Now, it's been a while since I've used the Statistics plugin in WordPress, and I was recently working on a client site that recently inherited site, and they have this plugin installed on there, and it doesn't seem to impact their speed. One of the big problems with statistics sites inside your WordPress site is still allowance for speed. The nice thing about a statistics plugin is that if it's on your site, all the data is yours. You're not sharing that data with Google or anyone else. It's your data, and you can control it. You have a little better knowledge. Plus, it gives you a little more realistic stats sometimes, because Google stats and stuff are still dependent upon JavaScript, and surprisingly, there's a lot of people that have JavaScript turned off when they browse the web. So, or sometimes you hit a website, and sometimes the JavaScript doesn't fire, so it doesn't always count stuff. So this is an interesting way to go. This one here does some nice things for you. It gets you some visitor data, graphics, country recognition, city recognition, visitors from the search engine visitors, referrals from referring sites, common browsers use, statistics, and more. There's just a whole bunch into this. A lot of statistics and graphs for those that really enjoy those. Anyways, one you might want to check out if you're considering sticking a statistics plugin on your website. Go check it out, and I give this one a 4 dragon rating. That's WP Statistics.
Just a heads up, I think someone was vacuuming.
Yep.
On your end. Okay.
Yep.
It was heard.
Yeah, well, of course it was. There's not much I can do about that. That's
fair enough.
The house cleaner's here to clean the house, and I can't do anything about that.
Fair enough. All right. So the first one I have is Retro Game Emulator. This thing is just so cool. I really like it. It is being kept updated pretty well. And what you do is you find this under settings once you've installed it. Then you upload your ROMs. You need to make sure that they have a .NES extension though, or it won't work. The ROMs are stored in your public HTML. It creates its own thing, so you can go there and choose whichever one, and then it loads it up to your site in retro style. It is just so cool. Now, I don't have any ROMs, so I wasn't able to check it out to see how it loads everything up and what it looks like, if it's like just your entire site that it becomes this or what. But I do think this is just an awesome idea.
Yep.
So I give this a 5 dragon rating.
Cool. All right, next one I have for you is a related post plugin. It's been a while since I brought a related post plugin. This one here, again, was on a site that I was working on. And I thought, well, related posts are still usable. They're important. It helps get people moving through your website to check out other articles. And this one here creates a little thumbnail for it, and puts it down below the content of your post for you. And it sets it up so it's got 2 or 3 or however many you want to set up across there. Kind of a cool little thing. It does help them all out. And related post plugins that are just simply related post plugins are nice. Some of the ones I used to use in the past got bought out and then repurposed, and they added more stuff to them instead of doing just what you wanted them to do. This one looks like it's going to do just what you want it to do, and it's a pretty decent plugin. So go check it out. It's related post thumbnails plugin for WordPress, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
Very cool. So next one I have up, there's a bit of a theme for my plugins today. It's called Shoot the Zombie. It's kind of funny. While I was checking this plugin out, the song Zombie by Bad Wolves came on. So I didn't plan it, but that was just perfect timing. Unfortunately, when I decided to try this one out, I did not think to look at the age of it or its last update. Its last update was 7 years ago. So it doesn't work anymore. What it was supposed to do is generate a short code for you to put onto your site, creating a fun button. And when clicked, generate zombies for you to shoot. Yep. I was hoping it might still work. Unfortunately, it doesn't. You'd have to have a much older version of WordPress, I think, than what I have on my site.
Gotta have an older version of WordPress. It works on the older versions of WordPress.
Yeah, I would love to see this brought back. Like, if anyone out there develops plugins and this is like a cool thing to them too, maybe you could fix it up and bring it back for new age. That'd be really cool. It gets an extra point for total awesomeness, so they get a 2 dragon. 2 dragon rating.
I got a sad song.
Yeah.
All right.
Not quite a 1 though.
Yeah, it rolls right into, it's got the asteroids game and other things like that. They're kind of cool to do. I had one on one of my test sites for Space Invaders.
Nice.
So, yeah, they definitely, you need a developer to bring them back up to date and then redeploy them with new names and maybe try to improve the graphics in them a little bit if you can.
Yep.
All right. Last one I've got for you. This is one my kid kicked over to me, which I'm really happy for. It's called wooHeat. Add some spice to your WooCommerce. And this is one that I will definitely be implementing on the Rogue's Tavern store. Mainly because, if you heard the pre-stream, I was talking about making my Chipotle peppers. Well, I've been growing lots of hot peppers this summer, and I'll be selling hot sauces in varying heats from mild to blisteringly hot with the world record pepper holder of the Carolina Reaper. So I'm gonna need something like this when I start selling my hot sauces, my salsas, my chili powders, and all of those things there, to allow people to determine, do I want it hot, mild, medium? And this one here has a couple of really cool features. One, it has the standard hot, medium, mild, etc. But it also allows you to set the Scoville units for your peppers in there, which I thought was really cool because, pepper geeks love the Scoville units. They don't care about hot, medium, and mild. They're after, what are the Scoville units for? Because hot, medium, mild doesn't tell you much. Scoville units tell you everything. So anyway, this is a really cool one here. I thought it was one you really want to go check out, and it's called wooHeat, and I give it a 5 dragon rating.
And the last one I've got is Let It Rain, which is another one that I was pretty stoked for. The idea of this is that you put in whatever emoji or HTML code for the emoji, and this plugin is supposed to rain it down all over your site. I thought this would be so awesome. Put in anything you want, make it for any time of the year, but unfortunately, it hasn't been updated for a while, and when I tried it out, it kind of creates this line where it's kind of raining in one line on the left-hand side, and then it's done. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do, so I'm not sure if they're going to be coming back to it and updating it at all. But it was a cool idea, so they also get an extra point for cool. I gave it a 2 dragon rating.
Sad puppy.
Yep.
Oh, well. It happens as plugins age. You got some of these plugins where a lot of them are built by people who are going to college and just learning to code, and they build them learning the code, and then they go through the process of releasing it. Then they graduate college, get a real job, and they're just like, yeah, I can't be bothered with that anymore.
Yeah, it's really sad though, because I was trying to do a fun theme, and I got this.
Yeah.
There's nothing really all that fun in WordPress. I'm noticing all the plugins that are fun they're done and gone.
No, that's because everyone graduated college, grew up, and got a real job.
Yeah.
We don't have all the newbies in there anymore.
I think we need to go diving for everyone's sense of humor. It seems to be drowning.
Yeah, that could be possible too. Alrighty. Well, we don't have any other things in our listener feedback right now or listener questions. Let's roll right into our contest.
It's a contest. WordPress plugins from A to Z.
All right, we do have a contest. Thanks again to Steve Goodtime, Brent Matthews for that jingle. Man, that's another talent that provided to us. We would greatly appreciate that. And of course, again, thanks to Charlie for keeping the contest rolling for us. And he's been taking a short leave of absence right now, but they'll be coming back again soon. We're probably going to take a leave of absence through the month of October for contests. Our current contest is running through till the end of this month, which is, show day next week. It's running through till the 30th. We'll announce it the following week. At any rate, what we have this week is Codexer deposits for WooCommerce single domain lifetime license. This is a plugin that will help you collect deposits on all of your products or your final sale bill in WooCommerce. Really interesting plugin, one that, if you're selling things that you got to build for people, you need to take a deposit for it, or you want to let people pay a deposit and pay for it later when it's shipped or whatever, however you want to work it. This allows you to take those deposits and leave their invoice open to collect the rest of the money. So it can be a very useful plugin for you. And the license we're giving away here is a lifetime license valued at $179, probably more than that, because once the company gets rolling, their license fees will go up like everyone else's do. So well worthwhile. Enter the contest, get a license that you never ever have to update again. And those licenses are nice when you can get them. At any rate, go check it out. It's very simple to enter. Just go to WP Plugins, A2Z.com/contest to enter the contest. All right. This is where we cover off a couple other quick things before we head into the Q&A segment of the show. I covered up in this show the following plugins: wooHeat, which I gave a 5 to; the Related Posts Thumbnails plugin for WordPress, which I gave a 4 to; and then the WP Statistics, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered Let It Rain, which I rated at 2, Shoot the Zombie, another rating at 2, and Retro Game Emulator, which got a 5 rating.
All right. And we still don't, I don't know if meetups will ever get planned again. They will happen again. I just don't know when. If you're not getting enough of Amber and I, make sure you check out the roguestavern.com live. We do a show every Tuesday evening at 8 o'clock live on YouTube. And it is a podcast that can be downloaded too, although they often get behind in being pushed up. This is the only show that gets out properly on time, regular schedule. All right, if you got any questions about plugins, suggestions, anything, please submit them to the website. Just go to the contact page and contact us at the website, or send something direct to me at john@wppro.ca, or send it to Amber at wppro.ca. All right, this is where we head off into Q&A time.
It's question and answer time.
And if anybody has questions that they specifically want up on the show, send them to me at amber@wppro.ca.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so I kind of have 2 sets of questions today. My first 2 are for both you and our listeners out there. I would love to hear feedback on these 2 questions. First one is, how often do coders/computer techs need to change their keyboards due to the control button or random letter keys failing?
Okay, well, I don't know. I replace my keyboard about once every couple of years. Coders, I imagine probably a year or 2 years they pound their keyboards to death. Unless they smart and they spend money on an expensive keyboard, good mechanical keyboards. Like the last keyboard I bought's a mechanical keyboard, and it came with 5 spare keys.
Nice.
That because you can pop the keys out and put a new key in.
Well, that was the other part that I forgot to write down. Is it better to replace them or is it better to fix them?
Depends on the keyboard.
Fix the newer ones?
Some keyboards, most new keyboards can't be fixed. They're just cheap plastic with a push button thing underneath, a membrane. They really can't be fixed. Old keyboards used to be fixable, but there are high end what they call mechanical keyboards. They're the ones that make the nice good clackety clack noise.
Yeah.
The good and they have good pressure. They kind of remind me of the old IBM Selectric typewriter. With their key pressure, but they stand up a lot better under the stress of constant typing. So I would think that most keyboarders, coders replace their keyboard unless they're smart and they spend money on a good keyboard. They'd have to replace it somewhere around 6 months to a year or two.
Yeah, I've noticed that my keyboard is dying a lot faster than I've ever had a keyboard die before.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my second question is, do coders actually remember all this coding the same way we remember all the words in order to write things like this? Or do they just have like cheat sheets or?
Both.
Both?
Even writers don't always remember the right word and they have to look it up.
That's true.
It's like coding is just writing in another language, literally. It's writing in another language. So there's very specific things that happen in that language. There's a syntax to it. There's formations, the way it's all formed together. It's paragraphs sort of stuff that goes together, chunks of code. A lot of coders, what they do is, even when I was doing it, I still have in all my notes and other places, I have chunks of code that are written, and I know I need this chunk of code, so I go there. I used to go there, grab that code, and just throw it in. And there's actually programs that are used that coders use to write in now that have that shortcuts in there, and it automatically fills in for the set chunk of code that belongs there. Because there are reusable chunks that are used all the time, over and over again.
Cool.
So I do know that. It's been a while since I've done any writing. All I do now is edit code and hack code. I don't write it anymore. But yeah, it's they remember some of it. Some of it's in their memory, and some of it they have to look up. Some of it they put in specific spots to just copy and paste. They know, I need this chunk. I don't want to rewrite, all that code again. I copy and paste it. Boom, done. So.
Well, it makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. No, it's like English, man. Even English professors sometimes have to look things up because they can't quite remember what to do or how something goes.
Okay, so my last two questions here are mainly pointed at you, but I'm always happy to hear anybody's responses.
Okay. Well,
I'll read them out and then we can close them.
Yep.
What does your PHP being out of date actually do to your site plugins and theme? And what would updating your PHP before you update your site do?
Okay. I'll be able to answer those. We're going to let my girl take us on out of here, and we'll come back after this over on the YouTube channel for those of you listening to the show.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsaToZ.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaToZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaToZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at wppluginsaToZ. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
All right. Okay, let's take up these two questions. What does your PHP being out of date actually do to your site plugins and themes? Well, if you haven't updated your site plugins and themes, it does nothing.
Okay.
Because the PHP is the proper version for when the site was built. It's like I still have one or two sites out there that are basic practice sites that are still on, not 5.6 anymore. I had to move them up to 7. But they're still on 7 or 7.1, but all the plugins and themes are run on that version of PHP. So it does nothing if it being out of date, as long as your plugins and everything are still out of date with it. That rolls into your second one, which is what would updating your PHP before you update your site do? You'll break stuff. I've done it. Back in the mad rush to update from 5.6 PHP to 7, there was a lot of plugins that weren't compatible with PHP 7. And basically what would happen was I would look at a site and go, well, can I just update first before I update the plugins, or what's going to happen? So I'd update the PHP and the site would white screen. It would just white screen of death. It just won't work because the plugins or the theme or something was not compatible with PHP 7. So I'd roll back to PHP 5.6, do the plugin updates, and then you can do the PHP update. And that still happens when you're going from 7.5 to 7.6 to 7.7, and 8 is just around the corner now. PHP 8 is just around the corner. So it's going to continue to happen. They've stepped up. Like PHP was on a very slow trajectory for many, many years, but in the last 2 years, it's gone from 5.6. They completely skipped over 7, or skipped over 6 and went straight to 7. And it's 7. From 7, they've had 4 or 5 versions of it. I can't remember now. And then 8 is coming out. So they've really stepped up their advances in it. And one of the big things that's happening with PHP is as they advance, they've been depreciating code. Code that's risky, allows for, hacks and other things. So they've been depreciating that code, meaning that code has been being removed from the newer version, so it can't be accessed or used anymore. So they're not staying backwards compatible. That's one of WordPress's biggest problems, is they try to stay backwards compatible to everything. I think this last year they finally set a minimal PHP. It'll still run on older versions of PHP, but anything under 7.1 now, there's a big warning in your desktop of your WordPress that says, hey, you're running an old version of PHP. It's unsecure. Update. But I think WordPress is pushing towards the point where they're going to say the new version of WordPress will not run on any version of PHP older than X. And that's going to happen. So. But yeah, if you're going to be updating your PHP, you want to update your plugins first, because chances are you will white screen it if you haven't updated the plugins first.
So what is going on when screening on you? Like what is the PHP? I'm trying to figure out the connection between the plugins and the PHP.
Well, PHP is the underlying operating system for a server. The server's got a Linux operating system. PHP is the operating system for the website. Is the simplest way I can describe it. It's the simple. There's a word for it, but operating system for the server.
I understand.
Yeah.
But what is like you said, it's not backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So when the code is depreciated, is it causing issues because that code is in the plugins, or the plugins are looking for that code?
The plugins are looking for that code in PHP to execute the code that the plugins were trying to execute.
Ah, okay. So that's the connection.
You write the code in in PHP style, but that code has to be executed by a operating system, basically.
Yeah.
So that code in that plugin is sent to the server for the PHP, and the server goes, oh, I recognize this as PHP, let's run PHP, and it generates whatever outputs it's supposed to generate, and it sends them back to the website. So if it's looking for a depreciated piece of code, it goes, I can't do anything, and it just freaks out and crashes.
Yeah, okay, now I understand.
So that's basically what it boils down to. So we got some comments from Hemdy in here. One would go back to the keyboard. He spent money on a nice desktop keyboard years ago, an MS Surface keyboard, and it's still working fine. MS Surface keyboards are pretty good. Signature keyboard has a nice fabric finish for my Surface Pro tablet. Fabric gets too grubby to clean after a while. Yeah, I imagine that. I can imagine having a fabric keyboard. It's like, that just seems wrong. Yeah, and he says he needs to replace it every year or two. But yeah, I fabric keyboard just seems off for me. Plastic, if it's like, I like the old keyboards from the late 90s, into early 2000s. I wish those keyboards were adaptable to the modern computer, because it's like they clackety clack, and then what happens if something's wrong, where you can actually take them apart with screws, and you can take everything out. You could actually run the damn thing into the dishwasher and get it clean and take it back out. And there's just the electronic parts you couldn't run in a dishwasher, but you could take those and wipe them down with some alcohol to clean them up too. So you could actually get them seriously clean.
Cool.
All right.
Way cooler than the kind I have now.
Yeah, keyboard feels. Yeah, see, I like the old IBM style keyboards. I like that clackety clack feel. It reminded me of the IBM Selectric typewriter, which is probably what they based that keyboard on. Yeah, there's... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really like the way my keyboard feels. It's got like a clack to it, but it doesn't seem to be very mechanical. I can't replace anything, but
yeah,
it has you need to actually press the key in order to get it to work. And it's got clickety sounds, so I like it a lot.
Well,
the keyboard, like what my daughter has, the buttons are shallow. It doesn't make much of a click, and you barely have to put any pressure on to get the keys to work. It's weird.
Yeah, well, and everyone's typing style is different, so that's why you used to be able to. I haven't seen it in a while when it's in stores, but they used to display all the keyboards, so you could go through and finger a few of them to see which ones would work well. But I noticed they quit doing that 3 years ago. That was before the fears of people spreading their germs.
Yeah.
But even then, they did it because it wasn't economical. People didn't care. All they wanted, I want to buy a keyboard. This one's $19. Let's take it and go.
Oh, jeez.
I've done that a few times when I didn't have money and I needed a keyboard. I'd buy the $19 one, but I'd inevitably end up replacing it. So.
Yeah, I have a $19 one sitting as an extra if I need it, but I'm loath to pull it out and start using it because it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, well, I understand that. All right, well, that pretty much wraps up the show. That covers everything. Let's get a little bit of music, carry us right on out of here, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun.
righty, folks. That's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Adios, mofo.